What's up, everybody? This is Coach Phil with Coach Phil Reacts. We're back with another video. So today's video, we are going to react to the team preview of the 2022 Calgary Stampeders. Now, y'all know, love me some Calgary Stampeders, man. Love their team through the 90s that they had with Flutie, Alan Pitts, Sapunjis, Kelvin Anderson, Alondra Johnson, all that, and then they had Dan Dickinson. Now he's the head coach. I'm really feeling Calgary. I just love a lot about them. I love their old uniforms. I wish they brought them back. The black and the red and the white ones, I mean, incredible. There ain't nothing against the new ones they got now, the anniversary ones, but them 90s ones just ring true to who they are and the success that they've had. So we're going to take a look at the Calgary team this year, man. And if this is your first time to the channel, run over there and subscribe, hit that notification bell, blah, 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 comment section, you know the routine. Let us just get right into it and not waste any time.
Marshall Ferguson here with your team preview of the 2022 Calgary Stampeders. When we last saw the Stamps on the field, they were 8-6, third place in the Western Division after fighting, scratching, and clawing just to make the playoff dance. They got in despite suffering the loss of Bo Levi Mitchell for some significant time. As backup quarterback Jake Mayer had to come in and played admirably all season long when Bo was in. He was dealing with shoulder discomfort. Despite that, they were able to have the third most points per game in the CFL with 22.5 per game and the second highest yards gained per.
I mean, that's just a part of their culture, the offense, and juggernaut. I know they lost Mayala. How you pronounce his last name? They lost him this offseason, but I want to know who's going to pick up the slack.
Well, they don't like to have the splashy free agency sessions that many other teams do, but they did go out and make one big deal. That was, of course, acquiring linebacker Cameron Judge from the Toronto Argonauts in exchange for Royce Mechie, who might be able to make some Stampeders fans remember what it's like to have Alex Singleton roaming around the middle of the field for the Stampeders defense, making plays from sideline to sideline. They also added offensive linemen.
Okay, so I'm going to pause for a second here. Now, y'all saw in the previous video that I did when they played Saskatchewan, one of the biggest issues that they have is O-line and their defense. That's the thing with Calgary, is their defense is either shaky or spotty at times. And I feel like reassuring that secondary and also getting Judge at linebacker, that's going to be a plus for them. But if Bo Levi Mitchell is hurt, that's a big hit to their offense. Now, I'm not saying Bo Levi is going to kill it this year and dominate and all that jive, but he is a focal point of their offense. And if you ain't got your starting quarterback, the backup is just secondary. The backup, unless you got an all-world backup who just has a Kurt Warner-ass season, I mean, ain't really much you can do. You know what I'm saying? And I hope in the run game, they reassure that run game that they got. I know Dickinson wants to throw it a little more, but I don't know. I'm wondering how much time left Bo Levi Mitchell has. And are they looking for, what is that word, a successor to him? And are they trying to, if they do have a successor, are they going to try and ease him into the position more? So I'm curious.
And Derek Dennis was formerly under contract with the Evans Elks organization, and they were able to get themselves Jordan Williams-Lambert, a receiver from the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who at times has been underwhelming statistically, but is a big body and has big potential over.
Okay, you can have a big body, but if that big body is not producing, he's just taking up space. That's it. I mean, yeah, it's good to have a big body guy, but what can he really, if he's not putting up gaudy numbers, what's the point? I know they don't want to make a big splash in the offseason, but you got to make some moves, Calgary. Y'all got to go get some people. Y'all got to move the heaven and earth to go get a big-time player. If you're going to compete with Winnipeg, if you're going to compete with Hamilton, if you're going to compete with even Montreal, you've got to make some moves. You can't be the team that you were when you lost to Saskatchewan. You can't come back as that. Even if you were scratching and clawing through the season, who's to say you're not going to do the same thing next season? That's this season. That's what I'm curious about. I worry. I worry that defensively they're going to struggle. Offensively, if Bo Levi isn't out there, is their backup going to be able to make plays? I haven't heard anything yet about the run game, but hopefully they mentioned something about that. Did they make a move in the backfield?
Middle, especially when you consider that back in the fold is Kamar Jordan and Reggie Begelton. What I'm looking forward to with Calgary this year, number one has to be Bo Levi Mitchell's health. When he is healthy at 32 years old, he's as good as anybody else. He is in the prime of his career.
Like I just said.
I believe they have the ability with Bo healthy this year, and the receivers that are in place, they should be in the playoffs. The question becomes, will that defense be good enough with Bo healthy to topple the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, the back-to-back defending
everything I just said,
and also to be able to overcome the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
And I haven't even watched this video yet, so this is a blind react. Everything I'm saying is she's saying.
The line has to do their part in keeping him clean and making that a reality. The second part I'm interested in Calgary this season, the Canadian receivers. Jalen Philpott was drafted 5th overall from the University of Calgary. They keep him at home. They've also got Luther Hakanavana, who was a late-round pick in the previous year's draft. He stayed on the club and didn't have very many targets and touches, but averaged 20 yards per catch on the season. Can they take that potential, that big play body, and find a way to make it efficient in between some of their more high-volume receivers? And finally, can Calgary return to prominence? In the big picture, the Stampeders have always been a mainstay in the conversation around who is going to have a chance to win the Grey Cup. Last year, it felt like they were on the outside looking in for the first time in quite some time. The offensive line will be more developed this season. They've been able...
Okay, I'm going to stop him right there, because if you're going to get back to prominence, you got to win, obviously. But I feel like everybody's caught up to Calgary within the last 5 years since they last won a Grey Cup. I think everybody has figured out how to play Calgary, and Calgary doesn't really have an identity. Everybody's got a big arm quarterback now. Everybody's got somebody that's going to make plays. And one person I feel like they should have went and got, and like I said, moved heaven and earth to get him, was Brandon Banks. Why didn't Calgary go get him? He's a playmaker. He's a go-to. He's the number one player in the league offensively. And yet, why didn't they go get Brandon? That's a guy that's going to make plays for you. And everybody else will fall in line. Even if they double Brandon Banks, he's still going to go get it. But that's just me. I'm just a messenger. You know what I'm saying? And again, with the whole outside looking in, my standard for Calgary has always been when they dominated the 90s. I look at Calgary like the Atlanta Braves here in America, the Atlanta Braves in the 90s. Great in the regular season, get to the World Series, and just win one. They won one World Series in what, 4 or 5 attempts throughout the 90s? And yet Calgary won 2 in the 90s with Flutie, but yet they went to what, 5 Grey Cups? That's dominant. I want to see that from Calgary. I want to see them make moves. I want to see them be the top tier team in CFL. I want them to be the best of the best, and everybody's looking to. But right now, it's Winnipeg. And Winnipeg's defense, obviously, the best defense in the league. So if Calgary wants to make moves, it's not just on the offensive side, it's defense. You got defense, no matter what anybody says, defense wins championships. And they have a shaky defense. Let's just call it like it is. They've got a shaky defense, and Dickinson hasn't really done anything to back up the defense. I feel like they're all offense, no defense. And even now, their offense is mundane. So, like I said, if they want to get back to prominence, they got to be all-around dominant, and they got to reassure that defense. Straight up. It can't be just Bo Levi throwing for 4,000, 5,000 yards. That's not enough. If you're scoring at a high rate and you're, third in the league in scoring and whatever he said, your defense is going to be out there more. And I'm talking about if you're scoring at a high pace, your defense is going to be out there more, and they're going to get tired. Especially, they got 3 downs? If they're playing Saskatchewan, if they're playing Winnipeg, if they're playing even BC, I'll even throw BC in the conversation. If they're playing BC, they're going to be in a knockout, drag-out game. But if they're going to get back to prominence, they got to reassure that defense. And it can't be just slinging points everywhere.
able to get Sean McEwen in the center. He's a leader for them for the foreseeable future. And if they can add in that dynamic Kadeem Carrot running game with the skill positions that I've mentioned, Cameron Judge has a good season, and they surround Bo Levi Mitchell with the right pieces, Calgary could return back to the top quicker than we realized. Winnipeg can't stay there forever. The question becomes, who's going to go get them? Could the Stampeders reach all the way to the top and be on top of the pedestal?
Okay. Right now, as of going into June and right when the season's about to start, no. Calgary is not ready for Winnipeg. Winnipeg right now is a juggernaut. Winnipeg is a juggernaut. And as long as they got Willie Jefferson on defense, anchoring that D-line and just that defense in general, they're going to repeat. I believe Winnipeg's going to repeat this year. That's my challenge for them. I mentioned in the Willie Jefferson video, can they repeat? I believe they can. They're just all around an incredible team. Incredible team. But can Calgary sneak in and surprise everybody? Yeah. As long as Bo Levi Mitchell is healthy, they have a fighting chance. If Bo Levi Mitchell is out with his shoulder messed up, it's going to be first round and out. That's just how I see it. I mean, I don't know. I'm very, I guess, not doubting them, but I need to see the product. I want to see the product on the field, and can they make a run? If they can go 3-4 games in a row winning, maybe drop 1 or 2 every now and again, yeah. If they can finish season 13-4, yeah. If they finish 8-6, no. What 8 and what? What was their record this past season? 8-6, I think, whatever he said. But I don't know. It's going to be a tough season, and everybody's, like I said, everybody's caught up to Calgary right now, and they need to make some moves, man. The season hasn't started yet, but they need to make a splash. They need to give Bo Levi Mitchell some help. I know they want to develop internally, but if you don't have a good mixture of development and you have established players, there's going to be problems offensively. If they have to be in a shootout with teams throughout the season, they're going to struggle. If that defense isn't sure and they're not well rested, prepared, and they are making plays, that offense is going to be on the field for quick 3 and outs. That's it. I mean, I don't know, man. It's right now, looking at these previews, Calgary is the biggest head scratcher I have right now, and I want to see Calgary succeed, but damn, I don't know. But comment down below what you guys think about what's going to come up this season, who's going to be a sleeper team, who's going to be a disappointment, and who's going to win it all. Right now, I got Winnipeg winning it, and who knows, man? It's a toss-up right now, but we're going to get up out of here, y'all. Remember, stay safe in these streets, continue to be great, strive for greatness, all that jazz. We out of here.